Hello class, today we're taking a look at using equations to be able to calculate percents of. The first skill we have to be able to do in order to use an equation for percent calculations is we have to be able to convert our percents to a decimal. To do that, first thing you want to do is remember that the percent sign means out of 100. So all of these as unsimplified fractions, take that percent sign and replace it with that out of 100. And then the tops are all just whatever number we had, right? So 17%, 17 out of 100, 27%, 27 out of 100, 33 out of 100, 63.2 out of 100, 3 out of 100, and 4.9 out of 100. Next thing to remember is that dividing by 100 moves the dot in your number 2 times to the left. So once, twice gives us 0.17. Once, twice gives us 0.27. Once, twice gives us 0.33. Once, twice gives us 0.632. Once, twice gives us 0.03. And then once, twice gives us 0.049. In our writing and solving an equation, all we have to do is convert our words into math. So the word what always translates into a question mark. Your is translates into equals. Any number stays the same, so 20 is still 20. Percent becomes out of 100. Of becomes multiply. And 80 is just a number, so it stays the same. Next thing we need to do is convert that fraction into a decimal. So 20 out of 100 is 0.2 times 80. We then need to actually multiply those out. So let's go ahead and set it up. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. And in our numbers, we had 1 digit in decimal places, so our answer will have 1 digit in decimal places as well. And we can say our question mark is 16.0, and therefore 16 is 20% of 80. Now with this question, you might notice it would have been very easy to do that with benchmark percents. 10% of 80 is 8, and 20 can be made by 2 10s, so 8 plus 8 is 16. We remember with all of these, either method will work, and one of them will often be easier than the other. In question A, it was a very easy question, and so probably benchmark percents would also have been very easy to complete. Continuing down, let's take a look at question B. What is 50% of 70? Again, we're going to go say, what is our question mark? Is becomes equals. 50 is just a number. Percent is out of 100. Of is multiply. And 70 is just 70. Convert your fraction to a decimal. 50 out of 100 is 0.5. Multiplied by 70. Let's actually multiply there. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 7 is 35. 1 digit in decimal place. 1 digit in decimal place. Question mark equals 35. And so we can say 35 is 50% of 70. And again, in this question, it would have been very easy to do that with benchmark percents. 70 divided by 2 is 35. But again, we need to be able to use both equations and our benchmark percents. Yes, benchmark percents would have been easier in this question. Question C, what is 42% of 50? So what is 42% of 50? Let's convert that fraction into a decimal, 0.42 times 50. And let's go ahead and do that multiplication here. We want to do 0.42 multiplied by 50. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. Placeholder 0. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry a 1. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 1 is 21. 0, 0, 1, 2. 2 digits in decimal places. So our answer here is 21. And we can say 21 is 42% of 50. Question D, what is 6% of 50? What is 6% of 50? Now we do need to be careful here. 6% as a decimal moves once, twice to be 0.06 times 50, and then we can multiply that out. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30. we've got 2 digits in decimal places, 2 digits in decimal places in our answer. So our question mark is 3.0, and we can say 3 is 6% of 50. Next question, we've got 15% of 75. What is 15% of 75? Convert our fraction to a decimal there. 15 out of 100 is 0.15. And let's actually multiply here. Let's put our 0.15, 75 multiplied. 5 times 5 is 25, 5 carry 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7, placeholder 0. 7 times 5 is 35, carry a 3. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. Add them up. Whoops. 5, 12, 1, 1. 2 digits in decimal places, 2 digits in decimal places. So we can say our question mark is 11.25, and therefore we can say 11.25 is 15% of 75. What is 2% of 80? What is 2% of 80? We want to convert that to a decimal. Again, remember this is going to move once, twice here to be 0.02 as a decimal times our 80. Let's go ahead and multiply those out. 80, 0.02, 2 times 0, 2 times 8, 2 digits in decimal places, 2 digits in decimal places. Let's say our question mark is 1.6. And therefore 1.6 is 2% of 80. What is 30% of 120? What is 30% of 120? Convert to decimal, multiply. 3 times 0, 3 times 2, 3 times 3. 1 digit in decimal places this time. Question mark is equal to 36, and 36 is 30% of 120. What is 40% of 62? What is 40% of 62? Convert to decimal, multiply. 4 times 2, 4 times 6. Oops. We've got 1 digit in decimal place, 1 digit in decimal place. Question mark equals 24.8, and therefore 24.8 is 40% of 62. What is 8% of 124? Convert to decimal. Again, make sure you move that twice. This is 0.08 times 124. Multiply. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 is 19. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. We've got 2 digits in decimal places, 2 digits in decimal places. Question mark equals 9.92. So 9.92 is 8% of 124. On the back here, we want to do the same thing. We do want to round to the nearest hundredth if needed. So what is 26% of 124? Convert to decimal, multiply. Just going to move that over so I can multiply a bit easier. 124 times 0.26. 6 times 4 is 24. 12 plus 2 is 14. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Placeholder is 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 4, 12, another 12, and 3. Okay, 2 digits in decimal places, 2 digits in decimal places. Question mark equals 32.24. And then we can say 32.24 is 26% of 124. What is 7.2% of 36.1? What is 7.2% of 36.1? Remember, we need to move our decimal twice. Multiplied by 36.1. Let's do that multiplication. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 7 times 1, 7 times 6. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 4 is 25. 2, 9, 9, 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 total digits in decimal places. So 4 total digits in decimal places of our answer. Question mark is 2.5992. And we can say 2.59 rounded to, 2.60 rounded to the nearest hundredth is 7.2% of 36.1. 15% of 3.5, is what? So our 15% of 3.5 is what? Doesn't really matter that our question mark is on the other side of this question, and that's kind of the point of this question and question E. Our process is going to remain the same. So we're going to convert that to decimal. We're going to multiply. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. Placeholder 0. 1 times 5, 1 times 3. 5, 12, 5. And we just pay attention to our dots. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we can say that 0.525 is equal to our question mark. And we can say 15% of 3.5 is 0.525. (9.5% of 5.3 is what? Again, convert to decimal. 0.095 times 5.3 equals our question mark. We need to go ahead and multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 1 is 26. 9 times 3, 27. 9 times 5, 45, plus 2 is 47. 5, 13, 10, 5. And count our digits. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can say that 0.5035 is equal to our question mark. And therefore we can say 9.5% of 5.3 is our 0.5035. (2% of 0.8. What is 2% of 0.18? What is 0.02 times 0.18? Set that up to multiply. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. We've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 digits behind our dot in our question. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 digits behind our dot in our answer. So our question mark is 0.0036. And we can say 0.0036 is 2% of 0.18. Lastly, 0.75% of 41. What is 0.75% of 41? We move our dot twice to convert it to a decimal. Let's multiply those out. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 20. Placeholder 0, 7, 28. Again, we want to count. We've got 4 digits in decimal places. So 4 digits in decimal places. Say question mark is 0.3075. And therefore we can say that 3075 is 0.75% of 41. Finishing up, Derek surveyed 500 people in total about their favorite kind of ice cream. We want to use our graph to answer the questions. So how many people preferred strawberry? We know strawberry was 20%. 20% of what? Well, it will be 20% of 500. Now, of course, we could calculate this in a bunch of different ways. The easiest way is going to be that 20% is 10% plus 10%, and 10% of 50 is, 10% of 500 is 50. So that'll be 100 people that preferred strawberry. We could also do this by converting our 20% to a decimal and multiplying. And then we need to account for our dot. Okay, either way, we get 100 people preferred strawberry. How many people preferred raspberry? Raspberry was only 5%. We could do this with benchmark percents. So 10% of 500 is 50, as we said. 5% will be half of that. So half of 50 is 25. So 25 is going to be our answer here. We could also do our 5% of 500, 0.05 times 500, and that should give us the same answer. 0.025, 2 digits in decimal places, 25 is our answer either way. Okay, how many people preferred vanilla or mango? Well, if we look at those people, they have a total of 55%. We could do this as 50 plus 5. 50% of 500 plus 5% of 500 makes 55%. 50% is half, or 250, and then 5% we just figured out is 25. So 275 people prefer vanilla or mango. Or again, we could solve an equation for this. So we could do 55% of 500, convert that to a decimal, and then multiply it out. 5 times 0, 5 times 0, 5 times 5. Placeholder 0, 5 times 0, 5 times 0, 5 times 5. Two digits in decimal places, 2 digits in decimal places. Either way, we get 275 people for vanilla or mango. Okay. And then obviously 25 people for raspberry. So, hope that has helped you understand how to write and solve equations for calculating percents, obviously with equations.